Hey, how's it going?
What's going? What's up?
Let's start with Kirk. That was probably one of the worst days of my life overall. That was pretty tragic. Charlie just went around debating anybody. He had free speech. He wasn't a political leader. He had almost no actual political power. And it just kind of proves where the Democrat Party is right now and how violent that they can become just because of words. They're fed all of this hate. We're supposed to hate everybody, hate conservatives, and then they go out and unalive us. So it's pretty tragic. Ashley Babbitt, I don't know what she was really doing. She was just trying to get through a door and then it was, pew-pewed in the chest or whatever. I didn't see that as much of a threat. She was unarmed. So also tragic. And then you got Renee noGood, and George Floyd, kind of products of the same Democratic talking points where they're told to fight back. You fight these battles in court, or you go to your elected officials, as the other gentleman just said, or you become an elected official like I did, and you go through the proper channels, but you don't fight ICE in the streets. You don't chase them down, block their way, then, resist their arrest or resist their detainment, and then try to run them over. Bad things are going to happen to you. George Floyd, he was all hopped up on F, apparently. Kind of a bad dude overall, had a really bad record with his girlfriend or whatever, pointing a pew-pew at her belly when she was pregnant. Not a cool guy. But he was trying to fight the cops over like $20, fake $20 bill or something. Probably should have stayed in the back of the police car. Was a very large gentleman, just wanted to resist arrest. Shouldn't have done that. But Derek Chauvin was a piece of garbage. That guy's a bad cop, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, two bad people met each other both days. And I do agree with the host assertion of that the other like three officers around him didn't do anything either. And I'm a wrestler. I'm training some fighting skills, and when somebody goes limp, you got to stop right away. But he was
Exactly.
he's on the artery there. He's stopping the blood flow, and he just kept going and going and going. Apparently, they may have had some history in the past. I don't know if that was ever confirmed, but Derek Chauvin is exactly where he belongs. And any retrial, any appeal, I don't see that going anywhere. Trump can't pardon him. Anybody saying that's ridiculous. I don't see that as being politically expedited or any that would be no gain to anybody. So yeah, I wish Floyd would just stayed in the back of the police car and didn't resist. He'd still be around today. Maybe he might have OD'd later on, but he unalived from the pressure on his neck. There's no ifs ands or about it. Two independent medical reports do confirm that. He was not actually ODing. Yeah, he had F in his system, but he wasn't actively ODing. That's not what happened here.
Right.
And it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours before he was even seen in any medical help. I mean, the golden hour is gone for him. So that was
Yeah.
bad. And unfortunately, that
Right.
just trickled down to my area with protests and all over the country with protests. And the Democrats kind of went nuts over that one, as they usually do. So that's my assessments, way I see it.
Okay. Okay. Mike, what's up?
Yeah, no, I got a pretty vastly different opinion than the most recent speaker. I would agree on some of his points in terms of Charlie Kirk was a tragedy, but at the end of the day, when you're in this political game, you kind of know what you have coming, right? And when you're
Death?
dealing with these radical leftists, I don't think anybody else. There's a few people out there maybe
What?
who know the extent of how radical the left can be, but I think Charlie was well aware.
Yeah, so
And I
he's just
think
supposed to be
having
scared and
the
not do his
lazy
job?
security and shitty OPSEC that they had was a really
Wow.
bad move. I
Wow.
don't think it's any excuse. And, it was the first time I'd ever cried about somebody who I wasn't related to or wasn't in my direct, Dunbar number of people I've ever met. However, you know, as a Christian and as a outspoken Christian, I think he wasn't really afraid of death. Um, it's really tragic what happened to him, especially with his family. His wife and all the shit that's been going on is completely separate, so I don't think that needs to be touched on with this. When it comes to Ashley Babbitt, I firmly disagree with a lot of people's opinions on that because if you rewatch the video, she's standing and facing a window. Directly behind her are groups of people, and then if you were standing right behind her to your right, is a staircase going downward, and there's about 5 SWAT officers with plates, rifles, kits, everything. So the argument that she was a direct threat as a 110-pound woman and that Michael Byrd couldn't have simply grabbed her, yanked her through the window, slapped some zip cuffs on her, and told her to shut the fuck up, it just enrages me because I think that that was one of the most negligent shootings. Let's not forget that officer had previously been penalized for
Yeah,
leaving
he's a
his
bad guy.
weapon on the shitter. Like he set it on the little thing where your toilet paper goes and then just forgot it there.
That's right.
So that goes to show, incompetence. I still think he needs to be charged for that. But I also would argue that, like, as much as I was upset about the election results during that time, I had an opportunity to pay like $300 and hop on a bus from Southern California and go all the way to DC, and I was like, that's a bad idea. You know, and so I opted not to. And I think that if anybody could have read the writing on the wall, they would have realized it's not a good idea to do that. When it comes to George Floyd, again, firmly disagree. You need to be able to manipulate both carotid arteries. Kneeling on someone's neck without a curb or some sort of protruding object on the other side of the neck does not manipulate both arteries. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, so I am not really extremely experienced, but when it comes to that, I've fought out of so many fucking blood chokes where you know, eventually you say fuck it, you tap and your ears are ringing and the whole fucking room is spinning for a second or two until you come back to. You need a bicep and a forearm, or you need your own shoulder and someone's leg. You need both carotid arteries to be manipulated. Otherwise, you're not going to have restriction of blood flow to the brain, which is significant enough to make you feel like you're going to pass out or to, you know, remove you from consciousness. So I really don't think George Floyd was killed by, I think that there's political motive. Like right now, if they were to charge Jonathan Ross, it's already predetermined. Right, there would not be any like fair trial. It's predetermined. If he were to be charged in the state of Minneapolis, like he's
not going to be charged. Yeah, he's not going to be charged. So
no, obviously. But like, let's say they did charge him, right? There's no chance in hell that he gets a fair trial, and we all know that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But if it did, it's a predetermined fact, and that's why the feds aren't going to pass that case off to him to begin with, because they're political partisans. But when it comes to noGood, dude, people aren't going to like this. I don't really care. I think the country's better off for it. I think she was a radical leftist activist. You're looking at a 37-year-old woman, a crazy bitch. I don't buy the I'm not mad at you thing. That came off as super passive aggressive. I think she was one of many people out there whose whole intent is to, look, dude, this all starts because it comes out that you have a criminal alien population who is fucking over our government, stealing money through fake daycares and sending it back to Africa through remittance payments. ICE shows up, and instead of going, okay, I don't want hardworking immigrants removed from my country, so I'm going to protest, they just throw themselves in front of the police. And like, imagine if you did that from a local police standpoint. Like, you realize you'd forfeit your life, right? You realize that, like, if you saw someone getting stopped by any local PD and you just rammed your car into them and was like, what the hell, and tried to stop them, there's a really good chance you could be unalived for that. So the notion that because it's ICE, it's like the fucking Hunger Games, it's not laughable, it's dangerous. You get a lot of these, you know, I'm not trying to be mean, but like weak liberals are extremely dangerous because they're the kind of people that'll get you from behind when you're not looking. They're the Tyler Robinsons of the world. I think that bitch was everything that we don't want in our country. And I think when it comes to the way that I guarantee her beliefs lined up, like she would want my child aborted. If my child wasn't aborted, she would want my child castrated. These are the kind of people that hold beliefs that are antithetical to our society. And I think that the people who are like flash mobbing and attacking ICE now, we're seeing them deploy flashbangs as of today and grab people and arrest them. I think it needs to be way harder. I think they need to media blackout and just go door to door. Papers, no, get in the fucking van. And it needs to be like militant and organized, because right now it feels like they're playing fascist, but they're not actually doing it. And we need a drastic change in the country. So I don't give a shit about noGood, and I think that our country is far better off for it. And if the reports about what her little friend, lover did to her kids are true, then I think her kids are better off for it too.
Okay. Type.
Yeah, I just wanted to say,
There you go.
that agent had no right to take noGood's life. It is not his position to be judge, jury, and executioner. That is for the courts. And to say that his life was in imminent danger is a large stretch. She was not trying to do what you guys are saying she was trying to do. The vehicle is clearly turning, and if it was the issue of fleeing, they could have disarmed the vehicle. So there's no excuse there. And
how do you disarm their vehicle? Yeah, how?
The tires. That's what a lot of officers do.
Spike strips barely work, dude. Spike strips don't work.
Leg kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That is literally not what we do. It's not a high-speed chase where you're going to throw.
Yes, if someone's fleeing, you chase them. Usually it's not procedure. Let me just finish, guys.
She hit him though.
Usually it's not procedure to just take someone's life. It's actually procedure to try to capture the person first. And
Not
then
after they use a
see what
deadly
the
weapon.
courts say. Yes.
Absolutely not. I work in
Okay,
law
that's your
enforcement. If
opinion
someone
there,
tried,
buddy.
I work
This
in
guy
law.
is
I
extremely
work in law
uneducated.
I'm just gonna
enforcement.
finish. I'm just gonna
If someone
finish.
tried to hit
He's
me,
like
I
a
waited for you
armchair
guys to finish your
Hold on, yeah.
statements.
Hold on. Let type finish, guys. Let him
Yeah.
get it out. Good.
So the hypocrisy of the Republicans is crazy because you guys say, "Oh, they weren't law abiding. This is why we should have taken their life." I don't believe anyone up there, not even Charlie Kirk, deserved to lose their life. These are all misfortunate situations. Did everything go down perfectly? No. And even on Charlie Kirk's side, you spread hate speech, you're gonna face consequences. You need higher security because of the things that are coming out of your mouth. And to also say, January 6th is the greatest example of Republicans not being law-abiding. Y'all did more than resist. Y'all entered a federal building without permission.
I wasn't there.
And I'll land there.
Some of them were just left in.
Rich, go ahead.
All right. I agree with everything Mike was saying. Lawrence, can you mute your mic?
You're a baby.
Is that your name,
Give
Lawrence?
that baby a
Can you-
binky, bro.
Can you mute your mic, buddy?
Yeah, I'm not.
Um,
My kids
I-
are home sleeping.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything Mike was saying. I don't know what Ty was saying. I mean, I work in law enforcement, and a vehicle is a deadly weapon, and we're trained to meet deadly force with deadly force. I'm sure everyone's seen the video where he actually was hit with the vehicle before he unholstered his weapon and then fired off a few shots. I mean, I would have hit her 5 times instead of 3. I don't know what the fuck the confusion is about everything, but I think it was a completely justified shooting. I think that officer acted in the best interest of himself and the officers around him, because if not, they could have she could have led them on a high-speed chase, which we're trained not to do. We have no chase policy in my department. It causes more casualties. You can hit other men, women, children, dogs, crash into vehicles, houses, the whole nine. There was absolutely nothing that officer did that was wrong. So, Ty, if you want to combat that in whatever way you see fit, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you.
Can I ask you
Yeah,
one
so
real
a
quick
vehicle
one, and then I'll
in
fuck
on
off?
itself
Do you
is
think-
not considered a deadly weapon.
100% it is.
Yes,
Now,
it is.
if the
Yes,
vehicle's
it is.
trajectory,
100%.
no, if the
Are you a
vehicle's
cop?
trajectory
Are you a
was,
cop?
why is this your guys' end all?
Are you a law enforcement officer?
No, I'm
Because
not
you're
law
spreading
enforcement. I
willful
don't pretend to be.
misinformation.
Okay, I'm a cop.
So did I need to be
I'm a
law
cop,
enforcement to
and
come up to this
I'm a
panel? Is this
cop.
the whole? Does it
I'm
say
a
law
cop,
enforcement
and we're
only?
taught that a vehicle is a deadly weapon.
A vehicle's a deadly weapon. I'm a former elected official. I hired 65 police officers.
It can be,
Hold on,
but
It's a
it's
deadly
not
weapon.
automatically a deadly
Hold
weapon.
on.
I'm in
Real
law
quick.
enforcement, and that is a lie.
Yep.
You do not
Thank you,
shoot
sir.
a moving vehicle. So
If
I
it
don't
hits
know
you,
what
yes,
department
you do.
with, but that right there,
Yeah,
what you
if
If
they're
said.
it's
gunning
coming
right for
directly
you,
at
yes,
you,
do.
No.
hold on.
No,
if
Lawrence.
you are trying to go around the
hilarious.
vehicle, if
No.
you're trying, I don't even think his intention was even to try and even go in front of the vehicle. He was trying to go around where the other officers were.
Correct.
She
He was also
decided
documenting the situation because you can see
Yeah.
the look on
Correct.
the bitch's face when she's about to run into him, and she
So-
looks psychotic.
So I don't think, my thing is it wasn't even a matter of he should have went around the other side. He was already on a weird angle anyway. So she decided to put that bitch in drive and still pull off while the officers on her driver's side were telling her to get out the
They were
car.
trying to get
Do
her
you guys
out.
think the wife should
Hold
be
on, wait,
charged
so-
because she's absolutely culpable for the murder of her quote-unquote wife?
Yeah,
when
she-
says "drive, baby, drive,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
willfully ignores federal law enforcement. I think she's culpable and needs to be charged.
Should be charged with obstruction on a federal level. Absolutely.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
in some states, wouldn't you also
So
be
I'm not against a
liable for the
charge.
murder?
I'm not against a charge. I'm just against deciding to be
If
her
I was in
executioner.
that
That
same
is the problem.
predicament, if I was in that
Well-
same predicament and I was on a call and someone tried to hit me with their car, I would shoot them too.
But you
I'd
guys
do
are
the
saying
same
that she
thing.
tried to. The
She
vehicle's
actually hit
clearly
him.
She
turning.
literally
No, she hit him.
No, she
her
literally
vehicle.
did.
I'm not
And this
saying she didn't
notion
hit
that
him.
she
I didn't
turned
say
her
she
wheel
didn't
and
hit
he's
him.
supposed to
Did
be
he
able to
walk
see
off
which
uninjured?
direction the
He went to the
tires were
hospital
going.
with minor injuries.
Uninjured.
This is
He went
why-
to the
You
hospital.
need to answer
Alright,
this
hold
Okay,
on.
so you
simple
guys
question.
wanna
When you're
answer.
standing in front of a car, can you
One at a
actually
time.
see where the tires are going? Unless we're
Okay.
talking about an exposed wheel well on a rat rod. If you're standing in front of any modern
She did a lazy
vehicle-
job of hitting him if he got hit real hard then.
Well,
No, no,
luckily
but,
she was turning at that time.
because it makes you look stupid.
why
The
are you
reality is, if you're
justifying
standing
the-
in front of a car, you can't see the fucking tires.
Why is she
Why
driving
justify
off?
her actions?
She
But
shouldn't be
why
driving off.
justify her actions.
I'm
though?
not
I don't
justifying her
understand.
actions. I'm saying that was
But
a
you are.
You
reactionary.
absolutely
No,
are.
you-
because
you
she's
are-
the reason
you
she got
are.
shot.
It was a clean
Yeah,
shoot.
No, I'm not.
100%.
It was a
Just
great-
off
it was a
and
great pew-pew.
out of the
What I was
car,
saying-
and instead
okay.
of complying, she gunned it towards the
Literally
officer.
she literally could have put both her hands up and did nothing and still
It
be
was
allowed.
clearly
Yep.
accidental.
She
You
could have put it in
tell.
park.
No,
It was
wasn't.
accidental.
It was
How was it
clearly
accidental?
intentional.
What do you mean, bro? It was
What was
per-
the trajectory of
it
the
was
vehicle? That's my
premeditated
question. Was it
because
going
her
straight?
wife
Wait,
told
wait,
her
answer
to
my
Yes, it
question.
started straight.
Motherfucker's
Answer my
stupid.
question.
Hold on,
Was
y'all.
it going to the right?
Wait.
Was it going straight or was it going to the left of you?
Straight and then right. It started off straight. You can
and then
see.
right, and there
You
was
can
no
see.
way for that officer to tell that, because that's why I
Oh,
asked
God.
you, can you see which direction the tires are pointing when you're standing directly in front of a vehicle? Because if you actually answer that, your whole argument falls apart. And that's the most obnoxious part about this engagement is you know damn well whether it's a Honda, a Toyota, a fucking Tesla, all of them have their wheel wells covered by the front. There's usually headlights and then plastic. You can't see which way the tires are pointing when you're standing
So
directly in front.
question.
So all
Okay,
of this
I'll move on
armchair
from the Renee
quarterbacking
Good.
is fucking
Wait.
stupid.
Hold on.
Hey,
All right, guys,
ask him, my
hold
boy.
on. Wait.
Ask him.
Wait. Let's go to Doc, and then we'll go to Lawrence. Doc, go ahead.
Okay. The only tragedy I see on this page would be Kirk. I don't think Babbitt deserved that. What happened to her? I just think that was like a DEI security guard that was overzealous. You know, a little DEI hire at the Capitol. But Floyd, man, he was a nobody. He was just a loser. And so was Renee Good. What happened to Renee Good? I feel good about. And it should happen to more of these deranged leftists.
Big facts.
Yeah,
That's gonna happen to you, bro. You shouldn't be.
can
You shouldn't be
you
wishing.
Hold on,
be
let him
quiet?
finish. Let him finish.
Can you
Hold on,
be
let him
quiet?
finish.
White liberal rage. So anyway, yeah, liberals are really just they're basically a detriment to society. They're low IQ. They're delusional. They believe things that's not fucking real. They're just super hateful, and we don't need them in society anymore. So, the more Renee Goods, the better. And they can't say I'm hateful because they actually started this. What they did to Trump, what they did to CK, what they did in 2020 with the BLM nonsense. People are fed up with this, and yeah, Renee Good, rest in peace, and she's looking up at us right now.
And not only that, but like their reaction, that's what told us exactly. Like the reality is the way they reacted about Trump saying, oh, they missed. The way they reacted about Charlie Kirk, laughing, making 3D printed action figures of him. Make no mistake, if she had
Two
actually
wrongs don't
ran
make a
over
right,
Jonathan
bro.
Ross, they would have little action figures for sale right now and T-shirts for sale right now.
Hey, Mike.
The reality
Mike.
is these people are garbage and they need to be removed from our country. And if we
You
can make our
don't believe?
country
Hold
You don't
on,
believe
I
in
just
God,
want to say
bro?
something, Mike. I want to say
Meaning
something.
people
Mike,
leave,
Mike,
it's a
Mike,
W.
Mike, hold on. Mike, do you see in the comments they said, "Oh, you're heartless," but these are the same people who celebrated Kirk being unalive.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No,
Yeah,
we're not.
Two wrongs. All right. So how do you
Hold on,
expect? You believe in
hold on,
God, right? You believe in God, right?
Hold on. Don't
Alright.
know. This is the problem. We're not finna come with your little emotional manipulation.
How is that,
You
man?
people-
Is
look, dude.
I'm not your dude,
Look,
bro.
look,
Shut your
look.
Wait.
ass up.
Bro,
Let
can you
Doc
be
finish.
quiet?
And don't call me
Let
dude.
Doc
I know
finish.
you,
I don't.
bitch.
Well, calm down,
Let Doc
George.
finish.
Hey, can I say something,
Relax.
please?
I just want to say something real quick before
And we'll go to Lawrence.
the DEI commenter was going wow. So look, they try to say there's two wrongs don't make a right, but these people have been attacking, celebrating violence against the right and conservatives. But when people do it back, then they just say two wrongs don't make a right.
Yo, I was literally
Fuck
muted.
Fuck that. Ain't no love and peace for these animals. That's why.
I was literally muted.
All right, real quick. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Let me address the gentleman that sat there and said that the shooting was justified. I'm in law enforcement.
What
I've been in
kind?
law enforcement 25 years.
Security guard?
My policy procedure even says, and it states, you do not shoot at a moving vehicle.
What happens when it
Don't do
hits
that.
you, though?
Now, I've been hearing a lot of people sitting up here and they saying that it was justified and gloating about just because somebody got killed. I don't care which one of these people's up here that died. A life was lost. That's number one.
Yeah.
And to sit here and say that they deserve what they got, think about that if that was your daughter, if that was your mother, if that was your sister. Have some compassion That's what's wrong with the United States right now today is there's no compassion. Everybody want to sit here and
Exactly
be
what
so
I was saying
judgmental.
earlier, Lawrence.
Hey, at least my daughter would be a week free from licking sniz.
Well, you know what? That's why you
These are
so
the same people that tell you
ignorant,
God is
man.
real, bro. Like,
Lawrence.
how do you say some stupid
Yeah,
shit
because
like
the
that,
reality
bro?
is these people are irredeemable scumbags.
Would Jesus want you to do that?
Lawrence, can I ask you a question?
Hold on.
Bro, they said we cut
Wait.
him
Oh my
off and
God,
you're getting mad
stop.
at me. Shut the
I will
fuck
nuke
up.
the fucking
Everyone else
panel.
is talking.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna
No,
nuke the
kick
panel.
me out. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of this
See,
You
dumb
want me to nuke
Lawrence.
the
Kick
panel?
me out.
Can I ask
This
Lawrence a
is what I'm talking
question?
about.
Being
Somebody
annoying,
that ignorant
bitch.
that's up here and you can't even have a decent conversation with them. You can't even have a decent conversation without you having to show how ignorant you are. I mean, this is what the world is coming to now. We can't sit here and have a decent conversation without somebody gloating about somebody death. Come on now.
Lawrence,
Somebody lost a life.
Lawrence, can I ask you a question?
Listen. If my kid, I have 3 children. If my kid put themselves in danger, right? It's just like if my kid was a D-rug addict, right? And they're up here doing D-rugs, 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 and eventually they unalive or they OD because of the D-rugs. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad, yes, but at the same time, that's a consequence to her actions. That's a consequence to their actions. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like we can't make excuses for people putting themselves in these situations. You understand?
Are
If
we
you're
supposed to
going,
forget that this bitch is 37 and it's the middle of the work week and her kids are at school and she drives across country through over like 500 fucking miles to go play Hunger Games to like LARP, and then she ends up losing her life? When, like, dude, the LARP's over when they go, all right, get out of the car, and then you bun rush at the officer.
I
Like,
just,
I'm
I
sorry,
just don't
maybe
like
you're
the
not supposed to shoot at a
the
moving vehicle,
excuses.
but you really expect me to believe that your department trains you to stand there and just take a car? I get not
Yeah,
shooting at a
Lawrence,
moving vehicle. Not
what is your
when that video
policy?
came out of those Oklahoma highway officers firing a rifle from their vehicle while they were moving on the highway, I was like, that's fucking stupid and dangerous.
I
But
tell
when we're
you what,
talking about a car trying to run you
sir,
over, you mean you really
sir,
want
Yeah.
me to believe that
listen,
your department wants you to just get ran over?
I tell you what you can do. I tell you what you can do. I tell you what my department is. You do the research. You call them and ask them what is the policy and procedures is. I don't have to sit here and lie to you.
Even
okay?
if you get
Well,
struck by the
I ain't
vehicle,
telling nobody
that's the
up here. I'm
policy?
telling you what my
I have
policy
a
and
really hard
procedures
time
are.
believing you, bro. You're calling me ignorant.
No, I'm not
Like
calling
you
you
can
ignorant.
barely pronounce
Did I
the
once
words
say
you're
you were
trying to say.
ignorant?
So I'm really
I
not
never
taking
said you were
anything you're
ignorant.
saying at face value.
I told you I give you my
What
policy.
state?
I give
We
you
don't
my
need the department, but what
policy.
state is it? What
And the
state
only
is it?
thing you got to do is
What
call
fucking
them.
state?
Hold on, y'all.
Call them a
Just give
right.
me the state. Just give me the state. What's the state?
North Carolina.
Okay,
North
I'll look it
Carolina.
up.
And their
Not even
policy
Carolina.
is that you can't pew even being struck by the vehicle, even after that.
Yeah. You
If
really
you're
expect
struck
us
by
to
the,
believe that shit?
if you struck by the vehicle, how in the hell you gonna shoot a damn car? Think about it,
Well,
bro.
he did.
Exactly.
He pewed her in
He
her
was
head.
barely struck.
Well, he was
It
struck,
was a
though,
reactionary. It was a reactionary execution. That's my whole point.
because he
It
was
has
hit with
nothing
the
to do
vehicle.
with he was hurt or nothing like that.
You have a split second to make that decision. That's it. He wants to
He
go
had more
home
than
to
a
his
split
family.
second because they ran over and headshotted.
It all happened within about a
It
second, dude.
wasn't, man.
Can I say
I'm gonna
something?
tell you the reason. Let me
Oh,
give you
no.
the reason why. I'm gonna give you the reason why, and then I ain't gonna say nothing else. The reason why our policy and procedure says don't shoot a moving vehicle is because 10 years ago, an officer did that, and there was an innocent bystander that got hit by a bullet. That's the reason why they put the policy and procedure in there, sir.
Okay, so out of curiosity, do you guys rock hollow points? Or do you use full metal jackets? Because the reality is federal officers
Sir, I'll tell you
generally
what,
load federal ammunition so that there's not a risk of overpenetration.
Listen, I tell you what the name of the county is.
Bro,
and
I don't need
call
you to
and get the
repeat
policy
yourself
and
15
procedure.
fucking
It's
times.
Wake-
You honestly are going to sit there and have us believe that your
It's
department
Wake
will tell
County.
you, just
Listen,
stand there and get ran over.
Sir, listen.
Just stand there and get fucking ran
Sir,
over.
Listen.
You're full
Sir,
of
listen.
shit.
Raleigh, North Carolina, Wake County Sheriff Department. Check it out. Okay? That's what you do.
Okay, so like if we were to call them right now and say,
Raleigh,
hey, do you guys
North
inform your
Wake
officers to
County,
just stand there and get ran
Raleigh,
over?
North Carolina, Wake
No, you
County
have to make
Sheriff
a reasonable
Department.
attempt to move
Check
out
it
the
out.
way.
Bro,
Oh, no.
this is just cope.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. I can't see your name. What's your name? On the
Joe.
top up here. Joe, go ahead. What's up?
So yeah, I just want to say I kind of look at this from two different views. I read the Department of Justice policy. I feel like when I go into these things, and honestly, I think I changed my mind like 10 different times watching 10 different videos in slow mo and fast mo. Right. So when you're looking at this, I think if you have the ability to look at it and then keep looking at it, and then getting both sides, because me, I don't try to represent any side of anything. I think that looking at the situation, I already know that she probably was that she should have stopped, right? She could have preserved her own life. I can agree with that 100%. She could have preserved her own life by just probably being detained, right? So now we know that she messed up, right? She's fucked up. Now we got to go over and look at the officer, right? Because it's on the responsibility of the law enforcement officer to exhaust all measures. The DOJ policy states that, and they actually put this in the DOJ policy, that I don't have it verbatim right on me, but a vehicle alone is not a deadly weapon, and if it's coming at you, you have to make all reasonable efforts to move
Thank
out of the
you.
way.
Thank
Yep.
you.
That's what
Thank
the
you.
DOJ policy states, and you guys
Thank
can look
you.
it up yourself. I'm not lying about that. And then
Thank you.
and you
Finally,
also
someone
have to
said it.
account. You have to account for every shot. So he took 3 shots. One went through the windshield, and then when the car was passed, there was 2 more shots. But one thing I do want to say is, those of you that have been trained know this. There's different types of training for different people, right? So I know most law enforcement was 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. If you're in the Marine Corps, you know, if you're pulling your weapon out, you ain't aiming for the chest, you're aiming for the kill, right?
Well,
So
it's to eliminate the threat, isn't
yeah,
it?
to eliminate the threat, right? So one thing I just wanted to say is, so one thing people also don't know is that me, in my line of work, I study a lot of this stuff. The impulsive behavior or being trained a certain way. You're not a lot of these guys, especially this person in particular, did 2 tours in Iraq. So you actually don't know what you're going to do in a traumatic situation. It's called the fight, flight, or freeze response. So you don't know how you're going to react when a traumatic situation happens. He might not have known. We cannot. To me, it's speculation to say that she meant to hit him. It's also speculation to say that, hey, he meant to shoot her. It might have been an impulsive decision based on his training. That fight, flight, or freeze. Maybe in him, it's always fight, right? And some people, they freeze up, right? And they do training on this on purpose, right? Put you in stressful situations so you don't freeze, because you can't have that especially if you go to war, right? So the fight, flight, or freeze response is what I want to focus on. And so that is one thing you have to consider with the officer, is that maybe he just reacted, and he got hit 6 weeks earlier. So maybe he just reacted to it maybe too quickly, right? We do got to look at both sides. If it was me, I was not there, but I have been in situations like this, and I do think that he would have had time. First, I wouldn't have even put myself even near the front of the vehicle. I would have stayed on the side of the vehicle or on the other side of the vehicle, but I wasn't him, right? I wasn't in that situation. So I'm just saying that that's what I would have done, but just being even near the front of the car at all, he didn't have to be there. And he also had his phone out, and he was
Well,
able
he
to fire
couldn't
all
walk
3
through
of
the
those shots
vehicle.
off. But again, there are also studies with the police officers doing multiple shots, don't even know how many shots they fired just because of the situation, right? So fight, flight, or freeze, we don't know how we're going to respond. So I just want to say, like, you have to give everyone grace a little bit, right? She's doing what she's trained to do, right?
What?
She's a fucking idiot. What are we talking about? Don't
No.
make excuses for her
No, it's not
willingly
excuse.
going out. No, that's an excuse when
I'm
we
saying
sit
someone
here and
putting.
say people can go and just, obstruct traffic,
I
right? And
love
what
this
if another
host.
car came
I
and
finally
fucking hit
found a
her?
good
Now
host.
y'all gonna be blaming that. You get what I'm saying?
No, she should have been
Like,
detained. She should have
I'd
been
follow
detained.
her,
She should
but
have
she
just
I
been
want
wasn't
unavailable.
opposition.
complying. She
No,
wasn't
She's great.
complying. You know
I
what I'm
don't.
saying?
I agree
Like,
with you.
I'm just saying she wasn't complying,
I
and
agree.
before that, she had ample time to leave before that.
Yeah.
If I seen them walking, because they were walking, she was in the middle of the road, literally in the middle of the road, beeping the horn, while her wife was down there antagonizing them the whole time. She was in that car by herself, laying on the horn. You can see her dancing
So
and
the Jan
everything like
6er
that,
should have
right?
had the same exact treatment,
So,
right?
No, I'm
what do
just
you
saying,
mean?
when
What do
So
someone.
you
they should
mean?
have also got head. I'm not gonna say the word, but head est also.
Malived?
All of them. Yep.
Listen. I think J6, they were all fucking stupid, me personally,
Okay.
okay? I think listen, I don't make excuses for stupid behavior. I'm not gonna go and trump the Capitol building or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying? Me personally, because I think
Yeah.
you're
No, I
just
totally
asking
get you.
for it. You understand what I mean? So that's what I said. I think across the board, you do stupid
And
shit,
that's
you're
why if
gonna
you
get
noticed
stupid
earlier,
consequences.
yeah, if you
Don't
noticed
you can't.
earlier, hmm?
The only person on this table that I feel the only one, like regardless of the fact, because it's gonna be CK, because he was sitting there just talking, minding his fucking business, doing what he does, and he was publicly unalived in front of a bunch of college students, right? I don't agree with the rhetoric sometimes. I get it, right? I don't know him as a person, and this is why I say I only see what they were doing in that moment. I'm not talking about their past or anything like that. I'm looking at what they were doing in that moment to be unalived, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what
I
people
get your
need to
point.
be. That's
As
what
long as you're
people
not
need to be
hypocritical
worried
with
about.
it,
I'm
I
not
totally get you.
hypocritical. I'm
But
my
one thing I
logic
was
is
gonna say
consistent.
earlier, which what I was stating
And I
earlier,
have
is
the
that
North Carolina policy, just so you know, and what he said is not true. I'm gonna read
Yeah.
it. But go ahead.
yeah, what I said earlier, I don't know if anyone noticed. I said I don't think that that's the way she should have acted. All I'm saying, it was an overreaction to the situation. That was my full statement on that.
Hey,
So real
Joe.
quick,
Okay, go ahead,
North
host.
Carolina, it says police policy. If a moving vehicle heads towards an officer, the policy permits the use of deadly force, including shooting tires or the engine, to stop the threat. But it must be a last resort when no reasonable alternative exists, like getting out of the way, to prevent imminent death or serious bodily harm, as officers are trained to use the last lethal means first to stop the vehicle's dangerous movement. The emphasis is on de escalation and avoiding force if possible, but if escape is impossible and the vehicle is an immediate threat, officers can use their firearm to neutralize the danger, aligning with federal guidelines and officer training.
You saw, but you saw how the statement, but you saw how the
So,
statement
what
says
you
to
said,
shoot the tires.
what you said
or
is what
engine.
no, what you said is
Which
what
doesn't
North
do
Carolina
anything.
says. But
Yeah.
each department have their own policy and procedures. You got
That's
to go
for
by
your
your
state, though.
you got to go by your policy and procedures.
Yes,
Yeah,
Lawrence,
North
but this
Carolina,
is I
North
will agree a
Carolina
little bit
does
with
say
her
that. But
that
I'm
it's
telling you what the
federal procedure is
department
different.
procedures are.
Exactly.
Right.
No, but if you read the DOJ policy, I don't have it up. I don't have access right now. But if you read the DOJ policy, it does state in there something about vehicles in general. If you look that up,
Pull it up.
yeah, look that up. And when I looked it up, it was talking about how a vehicle by itself, even if it's moving towards you, you just have to make every effort to move out of the way, and then that alone is not considered a.
But why? No one has really
consider
answered
it.
this. Why couldn't he had just stopped the vehicle by pew-pewing the tires?
Because that doesn't work.
I think it was just a weird angle. I think it
That
was just a
doesn't do
weird
anything.
angle,
She still
too.
has 3
There's
tires.
multiple agents there. That's what I don't
Spike
get.
strips don't even work
They
in
were trying to
high-speed
get her out
chases.
the
They don't
car.
stop a vehicle
Yes,
instantly.
that's my point. You pew-pew the tires and pull her out.
And
That's
that
it.
does nothing.
How does that do
Just
nothing?
reacted,
Because
to
it
be honest
doesn't
with you.
it doesn't
I
lock
really
up
think
the
it
wheel. It's not
reacted
some
to the
magic thing in the
situation
tire.
Oh my god.
I
Well,
think,
that's
too.
Oh God! You think
why-
so? If you have a bunch of flat tires, you think you're gonna get far?
How about being 37 years old and driving to something that has nothing to do with you and antagonizing federal officers? How about not even doing that in the first place?
I think
How
we
about
all agree
that?
on that. We
How
should
about
all
that?
agree on that.
Well,
Why
she
do
got
they
what
got
she
stop
deserved. She
signs
got
for if
what
they
she
don't stop a
deserved.
vehicle from moving?
No, I wouldn't say she got what she deserved.
She got what she deserved. She was an idiot. She got what she deserved.
Hey, Joe.
It's not that hard.
Joe, you said he
Should all
shouldn't
stupid
cross.
people be killed? I don't
Joe,
know.
you
I
said
don't think that.
you said he shouldn't cross in front of the vehicle. What was he supposed to do to respond to his coworkers when they were in a fight to try to get her out of the vehicle? Was he just supposed to stay on the one side and just watch it happen?
I would have been on the other side, watching the other lady, the wife. That's what I would have done. And the other two, they had 3 officers on. Was it 2 or 3 officers on that side? And so he walked around the vehicle twice. If you didn't.
Yeah, because he was with his phone and he was gathering evidence.
Yeah, and so he had the license plate number. They had him, and if they were trying to escape, I feel like I honestly just feel like the guy reacted. Maybe he just reacted to the situation. I don't think that I can't speculate, and this is why I say is that both sides are wrong in speculating. You cannot honestly say she was mean to hit him, because even at that distance, how many feet away from the car was he? 1 or 2 feet? Even at that distance, if she gunned it at him, he probably wouldn't have, more
He could have
likely,
got run
probably-
over. There was a lot of street in
He
front
wouldn't
of
have
behind
been
him.
alive if that's what her
He,
intent
wouldn't have
was.
her
been
tire
alive,
would have
but-
flattened him, dude.
Yes,
So-
and that was her intent. She clearly turned. That's our whole
I've been
point.
hit by a car from that distance, and honestly, yeah,
Oh,
I had a.
so you're just supposed to get hit by a vehicle and say, "Oh well,
No,
oh,
you're
have
supposed
a good day."
You're supposed to move out the way and not put yourself
And apprehend her,
in the
not
first
not
place.
try
Well,
to.
that's what he was trying to do.
end
He was
it.
trying to help the apprehension, but apparently you guys are saying that he's magic and can just walk through the vehicle. That's
No,
impossible.
I would just moved out the way, let her go, and get her later. That's what I would have done.
But he's
Would've
already
just got the
he's
tires,
already
get the tires,
he's already
and once the
almost
vehicle-
around the vehicle at that point when they
Could've just
ordered
got
her
the
out.
tires. I don't get what you guys keep on like.
Just
tap
shoot the
dancing over
tires.
that.
Yeah, that makes no sense, dude.
That
She
that
couldn't
does
have
make
shot
sense.
the tire. He couldn't have taken out the
yeah,
tires.
he couldn't
from
even
where
see
he
the
was
tire.
because he was walking around.
Like I said, there's multiple
He was
agents
walking
right there.
around.
So they just all take
Okay,
one
real
side of the
quick.
tires, and then I mean, have you ever seen a vehicle run without tires? They still can go. I mean, it's still a threat.
Not very far. Not very.
These
far.
aren't
Let's go to-
pussy city cops. They're federally trained officers that are mean business. They're not going to mess
But even
around.
still, like, yeah, like, okay, hold on. Let's go to Royce and then Mike. Royce, go ahead.
Yeah. The if I were the guy in that car, I would have stopped because I don't trust law enforcement to make a rational decision to know whether this guy has been traumatized or blah 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 blah. I would have stopped because I don't trust him, right? But in regards to malicious intent, I don't think it was. I think looking at all of that different.
All right, guys, I got a phone call here soon, so I got to cut this one. Plus, you know, it's just kind of a one-on-one, which is understandable. Thought we had some good, reasonable people here. We got some crappy op, but the host is amazing. You know, Alyssa, A+ for you. You're awesome. A+ for some of the other guests here. Wow, did they have great points? Learned a few things. Hope you guys did too. Let's hit that subscribe button because we're gaining so many subscribers that we might break through the roof and beat Mr. Beast soon. You guys never know. Then you'll be like, oh, I knew Trusty before he was better than Mr. Beast. I'm amazing. So why don't we be amazing together? Maybe leave a comment and then you get a cool little heart maybe next to you. If I check back, sometimes I do often. So that'll make you feel good inside. And then maybe hit the like button because none of you do that. So why don't we keep not hitting the like button or maybe hitting it for fun and then or not. But let's do the subscribe and we will see ya.